Hi, my name's Pam and I'm the artist behind PBJ Art, and today we're going to look at encaustic art and how to get started with it. So I'm going to introduce you to the tools and some of the basic techniques. So we've looked at the equipment and we've looked at the waxes, so now I'm going to show you how to put the whole two together and come up with a picture. So basically, to set yourself out, you need nice thick wads of paper, preferably something like newspaper. That's just to protect your work surface because obviously the iron does get hot. This is to keep your piece of work clean, and you will also need some good old-fashioned kitchen roll or something similar. Now, the kind of paper you normally use for encaustic art it's glossy. It's like, it actually looks like photo paper, and again, Brian does this. You can get it in various sizes. What I tend to do is buy the A4 because then I can cut it to whatever size I want. So I actually prefer that. So what we want to do now is we want to melt some wax on here. So just for display purposes, I'm going to just make like a sky. So the sort of colours I would use are like the little lavender. We've got this nice shade of blue, white, and I'm going to use some of my pink as well. So this is the sort of thing that will give you kind of quite a nice sky. So what we want to do is layer this on the iron. So we'd want the blue, and then we'll have some of the lilac. Bear in mind, like I said on an earlier video, they'll all blend nicely together anyway. And then the blue and the white. So we put that white iron on and we just go straight across like that. That actually looks quite nice as it is, but if you wanted to add to that, you could just keep going. You could layer it, you could sort of like make it more defined. So let's suppose we wanted a little bit more dark blue at the bottom. So just put some blue here, because that bit is going to make the contact first. So we've got a bit more blue, and we're just going to go like that, straight across. And basically, you can either leave it like that, or you can build on it. You want to clean the iron. You also want to keep your iron clean, otherwise it'll get muddy. So nice thick wad of paper. Wipe it all off. Make sure you get round the edges as well. Otherwise that will seep out into your next colour, and if you were using something like white, it would probably spoil it for you. So let's put some white on now. Let's do a little bit more white on here. So little rubber white. It's got a little bit of blue on it anyway. Down and across. So see how it's changed that completely. Now we could stop there, so we will, just for the purposes of this, because this is just a quick simple demo. Again, clean your iron. Make sure you get in there and get all the wax out while it's still nice and warm and movable. So let's have some grass now. So if we were going to put a hill in there, we'd switch from those colours. We'd perhaps have a green, a little bit of brown to tone it down. We could use dark brown. There's lots of different shades of green, obviously, as you expand your colours. So basically, again, you want to layer it because you're going to do that. So let's have green at the top of the hills with a little bit of brown. Okay, and then just basically straight across like that. Now I don't kind of quite like how that's worked, so I'm going to go over it again. And as you can see, as I mentioned earlier, the colours blend as you go along. A little bit more brown in there, I think. There we go. So if I just turn that round for the camera, you can see how that's working. This is just a very, very basic, simple technique. This is just using your iron. Okay, so I'll clean my iron again. I'm going to show you some tips later as well on how not to waste wax and the other things that you can do with it. We'll come to that later. Okay, nice clean iron. So let's have something at the front that's going to look like heathers or plants. And this is like the red violet. This is one of my favourites, and I use this colour a lot because I absolutely love it. As you can see, and I put it on the iron, how lovely is that? A little bit of the dark green just to tone it down, and on we go. Now you can either go smooth like that, just wait for the train to go past, or what you can do is if you put the iron on and lift, look at that, you get those lovely patterns. It's very, very simple but very, very effective. You can see you've got on the iron there, you've also got more of the colour. Now what I do, and this is one of the little hints and tips, I'll cover the hints and tips properly in a separate video, but I'm not going to waste that, is if you put that down on a spare piece of card, you've got that. Now you can build on these, and I use these to make cards, so I'll show you about that later on in another video, but that's one way of saving any wastage. Okay, let's clean the iron again. So that's just using the flat iron as it is. And I'll show you the picture like that as it is at the moment. But I think that needs a little bit more work, even for a basic one. So, what should we do? Let's have a little bit of green at the front. Okay, let's have another little bit of green across the bottom. So then you've got a bit at the bottom, so you can, I mean, it just draws the eye in. Just get my tissue blown away. Now, if, for example, you didn't like something there, it's not a problem. You just think, nah, I don't like that. Get your iron and just go over the whole lot. And what you can do is you can just keep playing with it. Adding a little bit of wax, so a little bit more of the dark green. See how it just changes every time you add to it, and sooner or later you're going to end up with something that you actually like. See, that actually looks there like we've got a hole through rocks. So there's no end to what you do, you just keep playing until you're happy. Clean the iron again. So I'm just going to leave it like that for now, but what I am going to do, we can use the iron to actually put longer grasses on. So if you wanted to put some, say, some long grasses on that, what you can do is just melt the wax along the edge, tip it, and off you go. So again, a little bit more, off you go. This is just a very basic idea, so let's have a little bit different shade of green now. And again, on and up, on and up. So you can either leave it like that, clean the wax off the iron again. What you can do now, if you wanted to, is just use the very tip of the iron, and you can put flowers. Just a little bit. You can also use the stylus for this, but this one is just to sort of show you what you can do with the iron itself, this video. Okay, I'm going to leave that one at that because it was just to show you, or you could choose a completely different colour. What I sometimes like to do is use like a dark yellow, like that. And then you can even have, I've done some like this, and then I've just put little bits of red in, and I've turned them into poppies. So I'll show you how I do that. Get the red, again, just on the edge of the tip like that, and then you can just dab it on. As I say, you can use the stylus for little bits like this, but I very often find it's just easier just to keep going with what I'm actually doing. Okay, now if you've done that, you can either use the iron to put little bits on there, or you could just switch to an oil pastel just to put some little stems in. And some leaves. Okay, just like that. I also tend to use, if I'm doing poppies, I tend to use the wax, the oil pastels, just to put the little black centres in them, like that. I say this is just a very rough, quick one to show you what can be done with the iron. Hope that's given you some ideas. You can, as I say, what we'll do, I'll keep that picture for the next video, and we'll do some extra little bits with it. We'll put some birds in it, or we can put dragonflies in it. or we could just actually go over it all together and start again. So we'll come to you in another video with the finer points.